Please note that police chases can be dangerous and unpredictable. We do not condone reckless driving or any other illegal activity. Our videos are intended for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Of this car. Now, they picked it up on the westbound 60 passing Grand, and if I'm looking at the radar here, we are actually now southbound on, let's see, which freeway is this? I'm trying to figure out here with SkyCal. I believe this is actually, it's south from the 60, and I'm going to get that freeway for you in just oh no, it is set now south on this, on the 60 freeway right now. The initial want on this, they said, was 10851 on the CHP radio. That's a stolen vehicle. So what we're looking at here is a silver stolen Audi that right now there are no lights and sirens behind this fleeing vehicle. The only law enforcement overhead is the CHP airship. So what we have here, this driver driving extremely fast and nobody behind him with their lights and sirens on. Now, they may have had their lights and sirens on a little bit earlier before SkyCal got overhead, because clearly, Amy, this driver believes they are being chased. They are driving extremely recklessly right now and driving through lanes of traffic on the shoulder, making very aggressive lane changes. But there are no law enforcement vehicles of any kind behind it. This is only being followed by SkyCal right now and the CHP helicopter. So it's unclear why this driver feels the need to drive so recklessly at this point, but sometimes they can spot the helicopter overhead and know that they are being followed. But right now, as you can see here, very dangerous, still continuing southbound on the shoulder, and we do know that there are two men inside, described as adult men. A CHP unit was able to spot them in there. We also believe there was information that at least one of them may have been armed as well. So armed suspects in this stolen vehicle this afternoon as they continue southbound on the freeway through the Santa Fe Springs area.
Well, and Mark, in so many other places, 1022, the morning rush is over, but here anywhere in the LA area, the morning commute lasts a lot longer. And at 1022, you can see that there is still a lot of traffic on this freeway, and this driver continues to use the shoulder to get around this backup of so much traffic. And clearly they know they are in a stolen vehicle. Even if they don't see the cruisers behind them, they are still trying to get away because they know that this is not their vehicle. And oftentimes law enforcement backs way off on these pursuits, trying to get the driver to slow down. But unfortunately, in this case, that's not working. This driver is still going extremely fast. This is extremely dangerous, but we often talk about the fact that law enforcement prefers a pursuit on a highway because you have less variables than you do on those surface streets, like pedestrians and stop signs and stoplights and people unaware. In a situation like this, oftentimes that driver is going at the same speed as the other drivers on the road, but this time not the case. There's a lot of traffic out there, Mark. This driver has just gotten off the freeway, but do you know exactly where they are?
Yeah, earlier I said he was on the 60. I apologize, he was on the 605, and this is right where we cross the 5. This might be Florence Avenue, I believe, and I can hear the CHP helicopter speaking to dispatchers. They have transitioned out of the East LA area into the Santa Fe Springs office area of the CHP. They are asking for CHP officers from that district to please try and get into position to reactivate a lights and sirens pursuit on this driver. They are concerned about how fast and reckless this driver is fleeing right now, and they do want to take this person into custody. It sounds like they are only in what's called surveillance mode right now, simply because there weren't any CHP officers that were close by and in position. Now, as we continue to watch SkyCal following here on the surface streets, this driver, as you can see, making these very aggressive lane changes, speeding up well faster than the traffic that is around him. And this is very dangerous, as you had mentioned. It's just about 10:30 on a Tuesday morning. There are people that are probably either just dropping off from school or still going to work. And on these, this is a residential area here now. We're heading westbound. I believe this is Florence. As we continue west, I see both SkyCal and law enforcement overhead tracking this car. I can hear the air commander continuing to route CHP units in. Now, on the sidewalk into a gas station, just making a cut here as they turn, I believe, northbound or perhaps now southbound. or no, just continuing around the traffic, continuing west along this major thoroughfare. Yeah, I do believe this is Florence Avenue. Very dangerous driving, Amy, right now.
Certainly wanted to continue in the same direction, Mark, instead of just making that turn there. So it may be that this person is heading to a particular location, but certainly traffic slowing down here. They are making an aggressive left-hand turn here. And it makes you wonder, you know, where are they going? And this car making very, very aggressive turns and passing on the right side of the other traffic, and this, going on the wrong side of the road. So dangerous. You know, people unaware that this is happening. No lights and sirens to give.
And it keeps on going. Now, this seems to be more of a residential neighborhood. Again, less cars, but this is a spot where, you know, there might be somebody backing out of a driveway, heaven forbid somebody crossing the street. And at those speeds, going 50, 60 miles an hour, even though that little Audi has been pretty impressive to watch for a little while there, it still might not stop in time. And this is what the problem is. And this is why law enforcement continues to have to get behind these vehicles when they're driving so recklessly on the streets. And that also puts law enforcement, our men and women, in danger as well. Right now, though, this car continues to renew these high speeds out here. Again, we've got the map up. You can see we're in the Norwalk area, but again, Downey area. But in these residential neighborhoods. Now, is this a spot that this person knows? I couldn't even begin to guess. Like I said, this started in the Riverside area, speeds on the 60 at over 100 miles an hour at more than one time. There we go. That's going to be the first time we've seen this vehicle actually stop. And, yep, you know, it's a smart spot to get out and run. There's no doubt about that. He's got that awning right there. Skyfox is going to move around. But, you know, this is one of those things again, too. Do they get the bad guy? You know what? At least that vehicle is going to be returned to the rightful owner. Nobody was injured. And again, if this person gets away this one time, you know what? There might be a chance that law enforcement might meet up with that person again. But right now, I have a feeling that Jeff is probably going to be working with the with the California Highway Patrol and trying to get out some locations. But again, we saw that vehicle just kind of park right there in what appears to be an office building out here at the corner of 3rd and Norwalk. Take a look at this, 3rd and Downey. There you go. First law enforcement coming here on scene. This may turn into a perimeter, but right now, that vehicle definitely stopped and that person on the run.
Yeah, you know, we always talk about how oftentimes with these pursuits, the suspect ends up going to an area he or she is somewhat familiar with. Obviously, we don't know, judging by this situation, but it is an interesting place to stop. We did not see this individual exit the vehicle. They might have before we got a chance to get the camera on them. But now we are seeing at least one police car, right? From what I could, see, we don't know.
Nope,
we don't know.
I don't know if that's a suspect.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if that's a suspect. Yeah, and you got law enforcement arriving out here. I have a feeling that it's going to be Downey PD. They are going to surround it. He did pick a pretty good place to stop. I do read the word photography. I've got an affinity for photographers. But at any rate, there you go. You can see law enforcement now getting out here. They're probably going to set up a perimeter. Now, my pilot Jeff was keeping an eye out on. It's on the other side. Other side.
Yeah, I saw someone.
Other side. Yeah, it looks like they may have somebody that they're going to try to take into custody. We're going to scoop over there and take a look. But again, you can see the activity down there. Some people just nonchalantly walking, and they just, you know, who knows? That could be the suspect. It may or may not be. The only thing I can tell you was that person was wearing a hoodie and was just kind of. Petite, and again, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you in a court of law if that is the driver, but definitely law enforcement taking somebody into custody. If that is not the person, well, hopefully they will be released here shortly. But again, you're watching it live right now, and this is the situation. We didn't see where that person went. Well, that's the sheriff's department right there, but the last thing we saw was him park that vehicle, got out, made the right move, didn't get out to where the helicopters could see him, and as far as we know, might still be inside that office building.
Yeah, it's certainly hard for you to see, Stu, the description of the driver, you know, from your vantage point. So it could be anybody. Obviously, you got the black and white down there doing their investigation, but clearly a pursuit of this high-speed chase of the stolen Audi that we were watching, going not only super fast, but going in the opposite lane of traffic, blowing through stop signs and some intersections as well, and then pulling into the underground or under the awning of this office building.
Well, the good news is the pursuit at this point has concluded, and this reckless driver, because we did see this individual speeding, blowing past stop signs, and it was very dangerous, obviously, for innocent people.
They've opened up the trunk. They are, in fact, officers are, in fact, searching that Audi that has been reported stolen, that was tracked right into this parking garage. They were looking for the two men that were inside that car. We do see one person is being detained, but we do not know what happened to the other person. At one point, Mark was hearing that at least one person was armed. That may have been how they stole this car, but we don't know if they, in fact, did have a weapon. We don't know if a weapon has been found on this person, or if someone got away and that person, or they may have, in fact, left the weapon inside that vehicle. You just can't say at this point until Mark is able to talk to some of the law enforcement. But they were able, they thought at least, to hide in this area. And while we weren't able to see the cruisers close behind this car, we do now know that they were pretty close behind them and have been able to at least track one of those suspects outside of this vehicle. We have not heard yet about a second suspect at this point, but one is in custody, it appears, and we're showing you now on the right side of your screen when that stolen silver Audi pulled into that parking garage there. And then you see that one suspect that has been caught by law enforcement.
Copy, thank you. Good beauty, LA. Should have been good day, LA. Copy. Taft